good action movie right now. So thank you for bringing us one.
Oh, good, good, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, mate.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, there's this one's got a little something to say too, which is kind of comes at a very, very interesting time, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean the eco side of it, if you see what I mean. The I think the you have both sides of it here. You know, you have the veteran, have the veteran activist who is the Clive Owen character, of course, who's doing everything right. I mean, he's anti-violence, and even though he's obviously using threat and so forth, but then you have the younger guy who is quite the opposite. So there's a kind of coup d'état in the middle of the terrorist gang, if you see what I mean, which are both sides of the coin. You've got one who is, as I say, the veteran activist, and you've got the other who is the extreme kind of anti-humanist, right? Who simply believes that by wiping all human beings off the face of the earth, the planet will, the earth will repair itself. So you have both extremes, really.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, and he's so good in it too. And did you have a moment on set where you're just kind of looking around, going, "Okay, this is how I pictured this."
Sorry, Paul.
Yeah. Did you have a moment where you're looking around set, just thinking, this is how I pictured this.
This is how it went.
This is how I pictured this, like it because it turned out really well. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean you mean the movie?
Yes. Mhm.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was a tight budget. We shot it in London, um, and we sort of obviously a lot of studio work in it. Naturally, you can't shoot 700 feet up on the side of a building at night. That would be not only impossible but illegal, of course,
Yeah.
and because the restrictions are pretty tight on that sort of stuff, certainly in London and so forth. But no, I mean, uh, it's one of those movies where it's a once it actually takes off, of course, it's non-stop, if you see what I mean. Um, and it's just got some interesting, as I said, the terrorist side of things, I think, is a very interesting, something a little unusual in the bad guys, if you see what I mean, and the good guys. Of course, you've got Daisy, who I love, and is literally looking into a goldfish bowl, doing every possible thing she can to break into that building. You know what I mean? And then finally managing to do so 2/3 of the way through the movie. So, and her relationship, obviously, with her brother and with the Noah character and so forth, sort of really. Those are the two important relationships, and of course with Hume, who is the cop. When the police turn up and so forth.
Hmm. And you've been doing this at such a high level, and people have been looking up to you for years and thinking, "That's what I want to do." What kind of advice do you give to other directors that want to tell great stories?
Well, look, I think the thing is, it's a generic film in the sense that it's an action film, and I never know what advice to give them. It's just in a film like this, there's obviously quite a lot of visual effects and so forth. All of those have to be storyboarded very carefully, both for budget and knowing what the hell you're doing reasons. And clearly the pace of the movie is really important. I think this is pretty fast. It's not a long movie, actually. It's pretty, I think it's what, 91, 92 minutes, something like that. So it moves fairly fast. And the only advice I would give them is that you have to do your homework thoroughly on movies like this, with kind of independent budgets. Quite honestly, you have no time to spare, and You just simply have to put your head down and go for it.
Well, yeah, and is that harder for you because you've worked with a couple of James Bond budgets, you've worked with a couple of Zorro budgets, right?
Exactly. Yeah, well, the budgets are noticeably different, obviously, because this is an independent movie, and with films like Bond, of course, you get the budget you need. I mean, um, you rarely have to sit down and say, well, we have to cut this back, or how are we going to do this because we don't have the money for it, and so on and so forth. It's simply the difference between studio and independent movies, and you just have to find ways of doing things. The way you approach it and the way you shoot it and so forth. And you have to come up with solutions that are perhaps different to what you would do in big studio movies.
Yeah. And no matter what, it really is about the mindset, isn't it? So is there something that you can always keep in mind that keeps you on the right path always?
Yeah, what do they say about the most important thing is script, script, and script. Well, the point about a movie like this, it is an action piece. It's an entertainment. Um, I think it's got some interesting aspects to it, what we talked about earlier. But and actually, there's an awful lot of scenes in this movie. I mean, actually working on it, I must say, I don't think I've ever worked on a script with so many different scenes. If you're cutting from outside to inside to up into the control room to the police turning up so you have all these different elements, and you just pray when you shoot this stuff that by the end of it. You actually you've got the story, that the story makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're like this. My co-host is Drew Pearson in American football. He's the guy that caught the Hail Mary. And we all know the Hail Mary pop culture term. He wanted me to ask you your Hail Mary moment, which is the moment in your life or career you just had to go for it and it worked out for you. What do you suppose that was for you?
Oh God, you mean in my career
Yeah.
or the
Mhm.
film?
Yeah,
Oh
in your
God,
career. Mhm.
in my Hail Mary, oh God knows. Uh, just about every film you do is a kind of Hail Mary in a sense, really. I mean, it's not sort of, even the Bond films are, oddly enough, there's not that much difference other than obviously schedule pressure and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And the point is, independent movies are very tough, given that you're obviously trying to make the best film you can for a very limited budget. As simple as that. And it always depends on the scope of the movie, right? If you want to make a big action film, well, that's an expensive movie. And the thing is that you get to a point sometimes where you just scrape home in terms of in terms of being able to get through the day and so forth. And often it's every day. He talks about Hail Marys. I've had a hell of a lot of them, and probably just about every day of shooting on this one was a Hail Mary.
That's fair. Well, and then of course, this is meant to be for entertainment, but like I said, there is something being said here. What is it that you hope that people will take away besides, oh, that was really fun here?
Oh, look, I think what they'll do is they um, uh, the question is, you have Clive Owen's character Marcus up there, extreme. Yes, he's taken over. He's taken hostages, and he's certainly threatening them because they're carrying weapons. Well, in fact, they're not carrying weapons to start with. Those weapons are revealed, to be honest, a little bit later. But the point is, I think Marcus, that's the Clive Owen character, he's going to great lengths and he's threatening the people, but it's a very corrupt company, right? And in my view, they get everything they deserve as far as Clive Owen's concerned. Obviously, when you get someone as extreme as Noah, right, it's a generational difference between them both, who believes that the message, no matter what you do, and certainly in the case of Marcus, that that the message will finally never really get through. You have to do something absolutely extreme in order to make any impact and be able to, as it were, change the thinking, change the world. That's what I think the difference is. Other than that, I think the action and the story is it follows all the action film tropes, if you see what I mean. And also, I've got Daisy, who is it's great to have a woman, you know what I mean. And I think everything she does is within her capabilities. I always see movies sometimes where they have a woman who can beat the hell out of 10 sort of well-trained black suited guards, and so, which I don't believe a word of. But I do think that most of the stuff she does in this movie is absolutely her character would be able to do.
Absolutely. She's fantastic in it. The movie is so much fun. We're going to tell everybody to check it out. I thank you for your time and look forward to talking to you again sometime soon.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, well,
wonderful.
it was a tough shoot, but it I think turned out okay. So I'm quite pleased with it.
Yeah, it turned out wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Great, Paul. Thank you, mate.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. Okay, bye-bye. Okay,
Bye.
thank you.